think back to yesterday. Not the big moments. The small ones. The exact words the first person said to you. The taste of your first sip of water. The color of the sky when you stepped outside. Most of it is already gone. You were awake for roughly 16 hours yesterday. That is nearly 60,000 seconds of sight and sound and touch and thought. And by next week, you will be able to recall almost none of it. This feels like a flaw. A glitch. Something a healthy mind should do better. But the real answer is far stranger. Your brain is not failing to record your life. Your brain is deleting it on purpose. Quietly. Constantly. Right now, as your eyes move across this line, it is already choosing what to throw away. And that deletion might be the only reason you can think at all. Start with a simple experiment you can run on yourself. Picture a common coin. You have seen thousands of them. Now, without looking, which way does the face point? Where is the date? What words sit above the head, and which sit below? You do not know. You have held that object more times than you can count, and your brain kept almost nothing. Not because it forgot. Because it never bothered to save what it decided you would never need. This is the first secret of memory. It was never built to be a recording. It was built to be a survival tool. Over 100 years ago, a German psychologist named Hermann Ebbinghaus decided to measure forgetting. He sat alone and memorized long lists of meaningless syllables, then tested himself again and again over hours, days, and weeks. What he found became known as the forgetting curve. Within a single hour, more than half of what he had learned was already slipping away. Within a day, most of it was gone. The drop was not gentle. It was a cliff. Your memory works the same way. It has always worked this way. But here is the part that should stop you. The forgetting is not the accident. The forgetting is the design. Think about what your brain is actually facing. Every waking second, your eyes alone send it millions of signals. Sounds, smells, textures, temperatures, the position of your own body in space. If your brain saved all of it, in full detail, you would drown in your own experience. You would not be able to find a single useful memory inside the flood. So your brain makes a brutal choice. It keeps the meaning and deletes the data. You do not remember every word of a conversation. You remember the gist. You do not store the exact image of your kitchen. You store just enough to recognize it. Your mind is not a camera. It is an editor, cutting your life down to the parts it believes matter, and quietly discarding the rest before you ever notice it was there. And what does it decide matters? Mostly, whatever carried emotion. Whatever surprised you. Whatever felt like it might keep you alive, or connected, or safe. The ordinary Tuesday, the calm commute, the meal that tasted fine, those dissolve. A mind shaped by survival has little use for the forgettable. This happens in the physical brain, too. Your neurons connect through tiny junctions, and connections that go unused are trimmed away, while the ones you lean on are strengthened. This is called synaptic pruning, and it is not a malfunction. It is gardening. Your brain cuts back the branches you never visit so the ones that matter can grow. And a great deal of that cutting happens while you sleep. As you lie there each night, your brain replays fragments of the day, sorting them, deciding what to keep and what to release. You wake up with a slightly smaller, slightly cleaner version of yesterday. You lost some of it in the dark, and you never felt it go. But it gets stranger. Because the memories you do keep are not safe either. You probably imagine your strongest memories as locked away, perfect, untouched. A vault. The truth is closer to a story you keep retelling. Every time you pull up a memory, your brain does not play back a file. It rebuilds the moment from fragments, filling the gaps with assumptions, expectations, and whatever you happen to believe now. Then it saves the new version over the old one. The psychologist Elizabeth Loftus spent decades proving how easily this rebuilding can be bent. In her experiments, she showed people footage of car accidents, then changed a single word in the question she asked afterward. When she asked how fast the cars were going when they smashed into each other, people remembered higher speeds, and later many of them even remembered broken glass that was never there. One word. And the memory rewrote itself. Loftus went further. In other work, researchers were able to plant entire childhood events that never happened. A memory of being lost in a shopping mall as a child, vivid and detailed, described with total confidence by people it had never happened to. Sit with that. The memories you trust most are not fixed. They are edited every single time you visit them. You are not remembering the event. You are remembering the last time you remembered it. So why would a brain be built like this? Why delete so much and distort what is left? Because you were never meant to relive your past. You were meant to use it. Your memory exists to help you predict what comes next. To recognize a threat before it reaches you. To know which faces are friends. To learn from pain without carrying every raw detail of it forever. A perfect recording would be useless for that. What you need is a fast, flexible summary, one that can update the instant the world teaches you something new. Accuracy was never the goal. Usefulness was. There is a famous demonstration that shows just how little you actually take in. The psychologist Daniel Simons ran a study where people watched a video of others passing a basketball and were told to count the passes. In the middle of the video, a person in a full gorilla suit walks straight through the group, stops, beats their chest, and strolls away. Roughly half the viewers never see it. Not because their eyes missed it. Because their attention was aimed elsewhere, and whatever your attention does not touch, your brain does not save. You think you are experiencing your whole life. You are experiencing a sliver of it. And of that sliver, you keep almost nothing. There is an even older erasure sitting inside you. Try to remember being 1 year old. Learning to walk. The first time you saw your mother's face. You cannot, and neither can anyone. Those years were some of the most important of your entire life, and your brain deleted nearly all of them. It was too busy building itself to keep a record of the construction. Now bring this all the way into your own head, right now. Consider the difference between living a moment and remembering it. The psychologist and Nobel laureate Daniel Kahneman described these as two different selves. There is the experiencing self, the one living through each second as it happens. And there is the remembering self, the one that afterward decides what the whole thing was. And they do not agree. Kahneman found that when people go through an unpleasant experience, their memory of it barely tracks how long it lasted. Instead, it fixates on the most intense moment and on how things felt at the very end. A longer ordeal that ended gently was remembered as better than a shorter one that ended sharply. The remembering self does not add up every second. It grabs a peak, grabs the ending, and throws the rest away. Which means the story you tell about your own life is not the life you actually lived. It is a highlight reel, stitched together from a few loud moments, edited by a mind that was deleting the footage the entire time. Think about your last vacation. You did not keep the days. You kept a handful of images. A view. A meal. One laugh. The thousands of ordinary seconds in between, the walking, the waiting, the small talk, your brain already erased them, and it did it so smoothly you never felt the loss. This is why time feels strange as you get older. Your first summers felt endless because everything was new, and new things demand attention, and attention is what gets saved. But now the days rhyme. The routines repeat. And a brain that deletes the familiar has less and less to keep. The years are not actually speeding up. Your brain is simply recording fewer of them. So what do you do with this? You do not fight it. You cannot. The deletion is older than you, wired into you long before you had any say. But you can understand what it responds to. Your brain saves novelty. It saves attention. It saves emotion. It saves the moments you were fully inside of, instead of half present and somewhere else. Which means the way to keep more of your life is not to record more of it. It is to be more awake for it. To do one new thing that breaks the pattern. To give a moment your whole attention instead of a fraction of it. Not because that makes the memory perfect, it never will be, but because a moment you were truly present for is a moment your brain decides is worth keeping. The coin in your pocket taught you the rule. You can look at something 10,000 times and hold none of it, if you never truly look. So think back to yesterday one more time. Not the big moments. The small ones. Almost all of them are gone now, deleted by a mind that was protecting you the entire time. And the few that remain are not a recording of your life. They are the story your brain chose to tell. The question was never why you forget so much of what you live. The question is what you will choose to be awake for tomorrow.